Welcome to Kykar Wins Fury. As far as our opening hand goes, I like it, but we have no land, so let's go ahead and mulligan on this one. And that is going to be... Man, I'm not super wild about this one. Let's go one more mulligan. And we have to put 2 cards back on the bottom. So we keep on the 3 lands. Frantic Search allows us to dig deeper. We can put Jace on the bottom, I guess? Yeah, let's keep on this one. Let's give it a shot. So we need to put 2 cards on the bottom. Let's put Pull from Tomorrow on the bottom for sure. And I guess just to kind of have something to work towards, we'll put Remand on the bottom. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we're going to click OK. We at least have 3 lands in the hand. We do have Frantic Search to hopefully dig a little bit deeper into our library. And then with Jace the Mind Sculptor, that's going to allow us to, if we get into a position to where we can... stabilize with some card advantage, that'll definitely allow us to go to the late game. But yes, welcome to some Kykar. I hope you're excited to get some non-creature tokens on the, well, technically they are creature tokens, but get some non-creature spells cast, and then get some tokens on the battlefield. So the opponent's going to lead off with Smoldering Marsh. Let's go ahead and go for Temple of Enlightenment, and let's get the Scry going, Scurry. A little bit of Fever. Talran, definitely going to put you on the bottom for right now. And then pass the turn to our opponent. So we're playing Kykar, Wins Fury, flying whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, then sacrifice the spirit, add red mana to your mana pool. Playing gets Grenzo, the Dungeon Warden. Grenzo enters the battlefield with X+1 counters on it, then for a 2 mana activation, put the bottom card of your library into your graveyard. If it's a creature card with power less than or equal to Grenzo's power, put that card onto the battlefield. So, pretty fun. Always enjoy playing Grenzo. Let's lead off with Temple of Epiphany and get the double Scurry, the double Scry going. Our opponents, there we go. We got triple Insanity. At this point right now, I really don't mind leaving that on top. I mean, as long as we can just kind of keep making our land drops, eventually we'll be able to kind of build up a board state to hopefully deal with Grenzo over there. So we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. For you to join the Kykar Spirit Squad and be a Spirit cheerleader for Kykar, head on over there. We're hosting some tryouts, and as long as you show up, you're going to make the team because we want everybody on our team. And we'll cover the rest of that. Yeah, be sure to check on MTGOTraders. Do we want to Frantic Search? I mean, our opponent, if they're just going to pass the turn, because that puts us on Frantic Search to dig a little bit deeper, but I think we're okay with just going Temple of Triumph. So let's get a little bit more Scurry going. Triple Scurry, triple Fever, triple Insanity. Unified Will. Yeah, I'm not really digging that one at this point, so we'll put that on the bottom and then pass it back over to our opponent. But yeah, be sure to check out MTGOTraders. Also, let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off anything off the website. So if you haven't treated yourself in a long time, make sure that you do. I make some really cool playmat designs over there. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to get your name in the credits of my videos, there's a link down in the description below. Or let's say you need to get your hands on some of these cool tokens, the token drop of the month. Make sure that you're a patron of my Patreon. You'll be automatically entered into the giveaway as long as you're a patron at the beginning of the month. So there we go. And I'm going to be changing these token designs up month to month. So that way we kind of keep it fresh and, you know, kind of get some of the my thumbnails on the tokens. I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. So anyways, it's officially free time. Let's have some fun. So, all right, we have Tranquil Cove. We might be running into some counter magic. I mean, not counter magic, but removal. So let's do this. Let's go for Jace. Yeah, let's go for that. So let's crack Flooded Strand. Let's grab Volcanic Island. Let's go for Jace the Mind Sculptor. At the very least, this is going to force them to go for Grenzo activations. And at the same time, we're going to be able to at least kind of stop them from swinging in at us. Then hopefully generating some value. So let's go for the 0 ability. We're going to draw 3 cards and put 2 cards from our hand back on top of our library. And that's going to, Brainstorm and Murmuring Mystic. Okay, so let's put Tranquil Cove back on top. And I guess at this point, because we can shock that in and potentially make a copy of Frantic Search to kind of get ahead on mana. Yeah, we'll put Tranquil Cove on top, and then we'll just go and put Expansion on top. There we go. All right, anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So, but yes, it's officially free time. Now, as far as with Kykar, there hadn't really been any major changes to the deck. I did end up adding the Royal Scions to the deck because, you know, a lot of things that this deck wants to do is just generate just kind of be a pain in your opponent's side. You know, it's very much a tempo, Jeskai tempo style deck, and then using Kykar or something like Monastery Mentor to kind of close the game out. As you can tell, just simply getting down something like Jace the Mind Sculptor is going to keep our opponent occupied with dealing with Jace as we just kind of slowly start to generate value. We keep making the land drops, and then we can kind of go from there. So pretty nice. So what we'll probably end up doing is shocking him Steam Vents and then going for Kykar. Because that'll kind of keep us open on Path to Exile if we need to get rid of one of our opponent's creatures. Typically with a commander like Kykar, especially if it's coming down, if it's like 4 mana or something, you want to be able to generate some sort of value from it the turn that it comes down. So let's go and shock in Steam Vents. There we go. And we will leave up Path to Exile and Swords of Plowshare, so I think that'll be pretty good. Now, we will hold on to Frantic Search for next turn because that kind of keeps us open as far as what we actually... Yeah, we're fine with this one. I doubt we're going to need red, so yeah, that's fine. All right, so let's get Kykar down. Let's go for the 0 ability. We'll be able to draw 3 cards, and the cool thing about Kykar is we can block on Grenzo. Oh, there we go, Polluted Delta. Let's put the Tranquil Cove back on top, and I guess at this point... I think Murmuring Mystic is a little bit redundant. I feel like we can keep Kykar on the battlefield. So let's put Murmuring Mystic back on top, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over our opponent. So running into a fetch land is a very good option for us because that keeps us open next turn to, if we can keep Jace on the battlefield, we're going to be able to draw 3 cards. We can also use Frantic Search as another way to kind of dig deeper into our library. And with fetch lands like Polluted Delta, what it's going to allow us to do... Okay, Pia and Karan... Create 2 Thopter targets. Oh, that's going to allow them to get rid of... Now, do we want to Pongify on that? Because what they can do is they can pop Jays. And so if we end up going Pongify on, that's going to be a couple more Thopter. I think either way we're going to miss out on that. So, yeah, that's fine. So we're going to go and let that happen. So they got the got Pia coming down with those extra Thopters. But yeah, with the fetch lane, one of the cool things that you can do with a deck like this is, let's say we're going for the Brainstorm with Jace. We put 2 cards on top of our library that we don't really want anymore. With the fetch land, that we can actually, grab a land out of our library. But the main thing is that it's going to shuffle our library up, which is going to be very good for us. So if you've ever seen some of my deck lists, or sometimes I get a question of, why are you running fetch lands in a mono deck, and especially something like mono blue, there's just some times to where if you have some sort of way to manipulate the top part of your library, simply just having a fetch land really allows you to kind of hit the reset button. Or even something like Evolving Wilds, just having something that searches your library is a pretty good option. So looks like we've got double Thopters swinging in at Jace. And so what we could do is we could Pongify on one of the creatures, and then we block on the Thopter, then they send 2 damage to us. I think we're just going to let this go on through. That's fine. They don't have double activations for Pia, and then next turn we're really going to be able to kind of explode out from here. So yeah, I think that's going to be fine. So we'll let that happen. We do have, with Path to Exile, we could potentially use expansion to kind of clean up the board state just a little bit. That does give them access to some extra lands, which we may not be that excited about, but we'll see what we can end up going for. All right, so they're going to go for Grenzo. All right, so they end up whiffing on that one. So we can actually go for Brainstorm right now, and then we can shuffle away with Polluted Delta. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go Brainstorm at the end of the turn. This is going to allow us to get an extra Spirit token on the battlefield. And that's going to be Imperial Recruiter and Murmuring Mystic. So let's put Tranquil Cove back on top. Let's put Polluted Delta back on top. That way we will draw into that Polluted Delta, and then that'll allow us to kind of shuffle up the top part of our library. Now with Kykar, one of the things that I need to keep in mind is that we can sacrifice his Spirit to add red mana to our mana pool. So that can kind of lead to some pretty explosive turns, which is a pretty nice feeling. So let's go and crack Polluted Delta. And there we go. Let's grab ourselves a Tundra. Have that come into play. And yeah, I guess at this point, yeah, I kind of like that. So if we end up going Murmuring Mystic, because we just want to muddy this board up really bad. So there we go. So let's go Murmuring Mystic. Let's go ahead and sacrifice. Let's send in the Spirit token first, because we're going to swing in either way. So we might as well just get in for 1 point of damage. All right, so we're going to swing in for 1, put them down to 28. And then let's go ahead and sacrifice the Spirit token. Let's go for a Frantic Search. And that's going to allow us to, there we go, sacrifice that Spirit. Let's go Frantic Search. And that's going to give us a really nice, there we go, and pay for 1 more. So Frantic Search, we're going to get the Murmuring Mystic trigger. So we've got our own little flock of flying creatures in the air, which is pretty nice feeling. And let's draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Okay, there's not really any enchantments out there or artifacts. I mean, we can deal with the Thopters, but I think we're okay with that. So let's get rid of Wear Tear, and we'll also get rid of Worn Power Stone. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. So we'll untap Temple of Epiphany, Enlightenment, Temple of Epiphany, and we only need access to, yeah, we'll untap one of our other blue-red lands. There we go. All right, so it's going to keep us open on Path to Exile on Grenzo, and I think we might end up going for that. That sounds like a pretty good bet. So let's go Path to Exile on Grenzo. That's going to be 1 white mana, and that's going to give us a few extra tokens. And you know what? Let's go and go for Expansion. I think I kind of like that. Okay, there we go. So look at this stack. That is just beautiful. So we got Expansion on the stack. We're going to copy Path to Exile. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get rid of Pia. There we go. All right, so we're going to get rid of Pia and get rid of Grenzo. This is going to allow them to grab a land, which they probably don't mind seeing. But at this point right now, I just want to kind of basically chew up their entire turn next turn to where they have to either recast Grenzo or kind of get that down, because when you're playing against Grenzo, one of the things that really matters is they need to have Grenzo on the battlefield. You know, they need to go for those activations. And so if we're forcing our opponent to pay 4 mana, that's going to cut them off, potentially getting down Grenzo and going for activations. And then we also have Pongify. And since we have so many tokens on the battlefield, we put ourselves in a position that we can basically just kind of, hopefully, kind of value our opponent out of this game, or at least really get that commander tax going. So it's going to be pretty much important. And that's kind of the name of the game with Kykar. You know, is once you get down like double token enablers, and then the converted mana cost of this deck like tops out at like 3. And then 4, I think we have a couple 5-drops in there, but that's about it. And so it's really a really nice spell slinger deck. And in fact, if you're new to Commander, let's say that you've played a lot of Standard or Modern, you consider yourself a Spike, one of the things I suggest is building Kykar. I mean, and don't really put any combos in there, because it's just almost like a 100-card cube deck, except you've got your Enabler right out of the command zone. And so it's some of the best Magic you can play, because one of the main reasons that makes it so good is that you just don't have a set win condition, which is, okay, good. They don't have mana for Augur of Skulls, which is going to be really good for us. So, but yeah, you just don't have a set win condition other than just getting a lot of tokens on the battlefield. You know, you get yourself in this position to where maybe you're going to grind the game out with Impact Trimmers or Porphyros, and so it's just a very fun build. So let's see what we draw into for the turn. That is going to be, and we're actually in a pretty good spot. We've got Imperial Recruiter, which we can just get a ton of creatures on the battlefield at this point. Wheel of Fortune, which is 100% what we want to see. Okay, so how do we sequence this? We've got a lot of spirit tokens too. Or it's not a lot, but we just have 2. So let's hold the birds back, because we go Imperial Recruiter. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Then we get down something like Young Pyromancer off Imperial Recruiter. And that'll give us a few extra things for... Yeah, I think we're okay with that. Yeah, so let's go for that. So let's go Imperial Recruiter. And then we're going to sacrifice his last spirit. There we go. We're going to have Imperial Recruiter come down. That's going to allow us to go for Young Pyromancer and still end up going for... Yeah, because if we cast Wheel of Fortune, no, that's going to give us a few extra tokens, and then we'll have red mana to see what we can kind of do with. Now, we could grab Monastery Mentor, but at this point, we just want to kind of grind the game out. Something like Selfless Spirit might work for us. Yeah, I don't think we need to be greedy. Let's go Selfless Spirit. I like thinking about going for Young Pyromancer, but Selfless Spirit gives us a Heroic Intervention in Jeskai, which is a very nice option to have. So we'll get Selfless Spirit down. Let's go for Wheel of Fortune. And we're going to get a few extra tokens that tag along. Now, that does finally give us an extra spirit token, so we'll have access to 1 red mana, so we'll see what we can go for. But the main thing is we have protection with Selfless Spirit, which is a very good option for us to have. So it's going to get that extra bird illusion on the battlefield. And then also, if our opponent goes for Augur of Skulls, you know, it's not the end of the world at this point right now. Ooh, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's go. Let's get down Wooded Foothills. Let's crack Wooded Foothills, because we want to grab ourselves a blue... Actually, excuse me, we don't have any more blue-red sources. So let's grab Plateau. Let's cast Mana Crypt. That's going to be an extra spirit token on the battlefield. Oh yeah. This is some good magic. All right, so let's go Skull Clamp. Yeah, let's go Skull Clamp. Because eventually we might be able to draw into some, like, we're not, like, going, I guess technically we're kind of going off. We're not comboing off, but we're just generating an insane amount of value, which is a pretty good feeling. So let's go ahead and Skull Clamp onto this Bird Illusion token. That's going to allow us to dig just a little bit deeper into our library. Grab a couple more cards. And you can see where something like Wheel of Fortune and all right, opponent's going to scoop it up on this one. Don't blame them. Once you've got, just repeatable tokens and Skull Clamp, you just draw a ton of cards. Let's see what we would have ripped into off of that. Faithless Looting. Oh, yeah. So we got Faithless Looting. We go for that. We draw 2 more cards off of that. So there've been 1, 2, Homeward Path. Yeah, we just get in this spot to where the game's going to basically take. There we go. Something like Dynacharge. That's kind of what we're going for with this deck, is that we have a lot of different overload aspects or overload cards in here. And so what that allows us to do is once we've built up a really nice board state, we go for something like Dynacharge and just kind of close it out from there. But that was a very nice showing of Kykar. But if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.